Now that we have the rover out of immediate danger, it's time to secure our second priority, a renewable energy source. Our three current power options are stellar, wind, and nuclear. Wind is of course not an option on a moon without atmosphere, and nuclear will require a significant mining and production process to get a reactor up and running, so that leaves stellar power as our only available option. The top of a hill or a large open plain free from shadows during the day are our two best options for maximizing the amount of energy we can harvest from the sun. As an engineer, it's always important to consider the cost of an undertaking versus its return on investment. Since the top of a hill is closer to our rover's hiding hole than a large open plain, it will take less metal to reach, and so is our better option. Any structure is automatically wired to pass electrical current through it, so running a line of armor scaffolding up to the top of the hill will act as a power line between our stellar panels and our underground infrastructure. We could have our entire facility on the top of the hill, eliminating the need for a power line, but that would expose our whole facility to being found and attacked by rivals, and also to being hit by the meteors that constantly batter the surface of the moon. So rather than exposing our whole operation to these risks, we need only to expose the stellar panels and power line. In time, these will be the least costly and most easily replaced parts of our facility, so it makes sense to only expose them to danger. There is no need to spend a further 24 steel plates per armor block to run the line. The single steel plate scaffolding block runs power just as effectively as a completed block, and the primary goal here is to minimize the risked infrastructure above the surface. So I save the steel plates and spend only what I need to as a bare minimum. The outpost grid is aligned to the path of the sun so that currently at mid-afternoon the sun is behind us. In the morning it's to our right. So we'll place two stellar panels to collect sun in both directions. The perfect setup would be a stellar panel farm that pivots to automatically track the sun's path across the sky, always exposing the full surface of each panel to the sun. But this method requires a lot of materials which will need to be mined first. So that kind of stellar energy farm will have to wait for now, and we'll have to make do with less than perfect energy collection. Currently our only means of producing components is with the rover's survival kit. It's slow and limited in the types of components it can produce. But we can use it to produce the components we need to manufacture these stellar panels, which in turn can power a larger, faster, more complex refinery and assembler production system.
Insufficient raw materials. Please deposit raw materials into the main chamber of the survival kit. Ensure hands are kept clear at all times.
Low gravity can have its perks. Looks like I'm gonna need to get my drill out again. The survival kit can only process stone into raw materials. It's not designed to refine iron ore, so that we'll have to wait until we have a proper refinery set up. Since the survival kit can't process iron ore, the tailings that I'm digging out of the wall are wasted. Here I am rolling them up together to keep them out of my way while I continue to feed stone to the survival kit. As you can see, with realistic settings it can take a very long time to gather and grind the resources necessary to get the initial operations up and running. For me, this is what makes my engineered creations more satisfying, as they progressively make my life easier by automating all of these sorts of processes. Finally, after working most of the night on building a basic refinery, I got a few hours sleep. The sun should be coming up over the horizon about now, and it was important to get a refinery working as soon as possible so that I could quickly build the necessary connections to recharge the rover.